Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jay from Sony Alpha Lab, and what I got here is the Sony a6000. And for this review, I used the 18 to 105 millimeter lens, and I also used the FE mount, which means it covers for full frame, 70 to 200 f4 OSS lens. So both these lenses are constant aperture f4, and they are on the larger side. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like with a regular kit lens on there real quick before we get going. It's much smaller, and the pancake lens, the 16 to 50, which is the standard kit lens, is much smaller as well. So you can see with this lens, it's significantly smaller and lighter, just to let you know. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the kit lens. And I just wanted to show you also what it looks like with a Minolta lens. This is an old school Minolta lens, quite heavy. It's an f1.4 lens, and I have a really affordable adapter here. And this goes on quite easy, like so. And you can see now you got a fully manual focus old school lens on there. So the E-mount is extremely versatile, as you already know. But I just wanted to show you that in case you weren't aware. So I'm just going to put this lens back on. And this is the one I mostly used. So the a6000's got a couple cool things going for it. Basically, it's got this awesome swivel screen, and it comes out that little bit so you can get around, tripod mounts and stuff like that and still aim downward. And they beefed it up a little bit too, the back here, so it's very rigid. It doesn't flex at all. Much better than some of the previous designs that were a little bit flimsy. The OLED is lower res, but I honestly can't tell the difference. I did a couple A and B tests, and there are reports though. Somebody reported on my website that they can see the difference. So maybe it's because I can't really use my glasses when I'm using the EVF, so perhaps I'm not noticing the difference in sharpness. But I just did another quick A and B test, and honestly, it looks pretty much the same to me for all intents and purposes. So, but again, other people are reporting that there is a difference. It is lower resolution, so it stands to reason that it wouldn't look as good. But again, like I said, when I look through it, it pretty much looks the same. Also, what else we got here on the a6000? It's got a built-in flash. It's very nice. Folds up, fits flat. And it's got a nice ergonomic grip here. They modified it a little bit from the Nex 6. It's more like the Nex 7 grip, and I like it better. They also modified the contour here for the thumb, and it's a little bit different, but they also changed this dial here. The dial is further over to the corner of the camera, so when I move my thumb, I'm hitting the record button occasionally by mistake when I'm trying to use this dial. So it's really not that big of a deal. I have adjusted to it. You just have to remember to have your thumb further over this way when you're using this control dial. So that's one thing that I want to point out. Also, on top, over the Nex 6, this has a couple extra buttons. We got the C2, the C1 button that are totally customizable. You can change them to whatever you want. I have C1 set to manual focus zoom. So when I'm using a manual focus lens and manual focus, I can zoom in and just double check it real easy with the screen. Works great. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go over the features of this camera and break down some of the other components, and then I'm going to go into Lightroom, show you some lab testing, focus testing, and I'm also going to show you some sample video because that's very important. The video on the a6000 is awesome. It's much better than the Nex 6, and you got to see it, how good it looks. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you all that stuff, and I'm also going to show you what this camera can do with this lens, and I also use this lens on it, so I'll show you some of those sample photos. And I have a couple other videos if you missed. Don't forget to check them out, showing what this lens can do, and also low light video from the aquarium trip we went the other day. So it's just low light family footage, nothing special, but if you want to see what it can do in the real world, it's a very good example because I was just hanging out with the family and just took video. So it's like real world, straight off the camera stuff. It's worth checking out, so you can see, like, if I go on a trip, or if you go on a trip, what you can expect to get, with a setup like this. All right, so stay tuned, guys, and I really appreciate you tuning in to Sony Alpha Lab. Please feel free to leave comments below if you have any questions. If I forget to cover something or I miss something that you're interested in, just comment below and I'll get to it. All right, guys, stay tuned. All right, so the Sony a6000 features a new 24 megapixel APS-C Exmor APS HD CMOS sensor. And it also has a Bionz X image processor, which really speeds things up. And featuring a TrueFinder OLED EVF viewfinder makes it easy to shoot photos in the daytime. Also on the back is a 3-inch extra fine LCD screen featuring White Magic technology, which really helps see in the daylight. It does make a difference. The A6000 also features full 1080 60p HD, built-in Wi-Fi connectivity with NFC, and the hybrid AF consists of 179 phase detection points that spread across the entire sensor. So you can actually use the very corner of the sensor to focus now, which is really nice. It also has up to 11 frames per second continuous shooting and a high ISO of 25,600. That's actually usable if worst case scenario. It's really not that bad. It also features IAF, just like the A7R and A7, which works. It also has a multi-interface shoe, which you can use for flashes, audio microphones, things like that. Has a built-in flash. On top of that, it has auto HDR, and it also has multi-frame noise reduction, which works really well if you're in a high, super noisy environment. It'll actually take multiple shots and combine them on the camera for you and give you a really nice noise-free result. So overall, it's an extremely feature-rich camera for an incredibly affordable price. The Sony A6000 for a kit is going for $748 US right now, and if you wanted to buy it camera body only, it goes for $598 US. So again, extremely affordable. It also comes in silver, so if you want to stand out in the crowd, you can get a silver camera instead of a black one. Alright, so let's move on to Lightroom. Let me show you some sample photos, sample video, focus testing, and all sorts of good stuff. Very fast. And you can see the zoom also works. Got 3 speeds there. Super slow. Alright, so there's the target. And I'll go to the lights. There's the lights. Target. Alright, so I'm recording at f8 and I'm just going to keep going up until I'm looking directly at the sun. Never done this before, but why not? There we go. Let me zoom in on it. I can actually look directly at it with this electronic viewfinder, and it's not hurting my eye at all. So there's the sun at 18mm. I'll just pan back down. And like I said, I'm at f8. And there's that fence again. I'll just zoom in on the fence. See if I can get it to focus on it. Watch this. I'll trick it. See that trick? Alright, so I'm recording at f8 right now, and I'm just going to change it to f4. So you can see the background get a little blurrier in the foreground. Get a little blurrier. Just increasing the depth of field. Raise it all the way up to f22 there. See the fence in the background. Now I'm just going to scroll back to f4. And notice the background separation. Pretty cool, right? Good girl, Sandy. Oh, wow, they look very pretty. Very pretty. Alright, let me see that face. Let me see your face. Smile. Good girl. Thanks, buddy. I love your project.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Chubbs. I'm just hand holding here. You can see the zoom is variable. It's got like a... Hey, what are you doing over there? Eating cheese doodles? What is that, a trick? Are you doing a trick?
We saw this on Survivor. There was in one of the islands, Vanuatu. They actually, that was a reward where you could go into this lake and swim with them.
That's all it was. Aren't they cool, Layla? You're up too high.
You're up so high you can't see anything.
Alright guys, so here we are in Lightroom 5, and I just wanted to go over some of the A6000 photos. I took almost 1,000 photos, so I'm just going to go over some of my favorites here from, the past month. Alright, so let's start with up here. We got one of Layla we took at the aquarium. This was at 1/25 of a second handheld, and it's not the sharpest shot. It's a little bit soft here, but you can see ISO 3200. And when you zoom out, it looks really clean. Here's another shot of my parents holding Layla. This is really high ISO 12,800. And you could see zoomed out, it's not too bad, but when you zoom in, it gets really noisy. See? It's pretty noisy. But, it's still usable, really. It's not that bad. You zoom out and it looks decent, But anyway, there's a frog. A couple more frogs from the aquarium. This ship was awesome. Somebody made this model, and man, did they do a good job. I was shooting through plexiglass, so it's going to have a little blur and distortion and whatnot, but I mean, this is just incredible. The detail, 24 megapixel. It's pretty impressive. So moving on here. Crazy shark, go fish. They had some snakes there. Crazy sand shark. Look at this thing. Watch when I zoom into this. So I guess this is why they call it a sand shark. It looks like sand. And this is at ISO 12,800. So that's really high ISO. And when you zoom out, you can see it looks great. I mean, you would not guess that this is ISO 12,800 until I told you, I'm impressed with the high ISO performance. It's just as good as the Nex 6 as far as I'm concerned. This was a rescue seal, so something happened to his eye there. Still pretty cute, though. This was a horn to some kind of weird creature. Looks like a dolphin, but it has a horn. I gotta look into it more. But, nice depth of field there. Some stuffed animals. Here's one of Layla. And you can see that dynamic range is impressive on the A6000. Look at that background. I'll show you the histogram here. You can see the whites are pretty pushed to the max there, but I can bring that back, just pull the exposure back, and you can see I can back those whites. The information is there. I'll just put it back where it was. There's my buddy Gary and his little girl Taylin. Their friend had a big rig here, pretty impressive truck. He had those cool wide tires on the back. Instead of the two next to one another, it was just that one wide one. Pretty cool looking. I was looking at this reflector and the sun was behind it. Here's just a sun ornament hanging. Just a couple more random shots. Here's Layla playing. Here's Talon and Layla in the background. Here's one of Sandy. Here's a before and here's an after. I edited this shot so you can see all the work I did. It's a pretty cool crane doing some work down the road on the highway. It's a creepy old house. This is a TIFF file, and this is the fully edited black and white version. I was pretty happy with the result. I was pretty proud of this. Layla painted this. Layla and Mommy came out really good. There's some flowers. Here's 100% crop of that one. Let's see how sharp it is up close. My little photographer Layla is playing around. Found her camera. We lost her camera for a little while. We just found it the other day. Here's some mushrooms. I converted this to black and white. Me and Layla built this birdhouse, and she was just working on painting it with Mom. She was really into it. I actually brightened the eyes a little bit on this shot. It's a little edited. There's another one. I actually took this photo with the Canon 24-105, these past few photos, and the Metabones adapter. So you can see how that renders really nice in the background. Look at that background blur. It's awesome. Converted this one to black and white. There's a piece of broken glass. This is actually the Minolta 50mm f1.4 lens, and you can see how like magical that background looks. It's just amazing. You can see f1.4. I mean, the fence just blurs away into nothing. It's really cool. You get some amazing effects with old school, really, really fast lenses. Here's another one of Chubb's with the Minolta f1.4. And another. And another. Here's one of Layla. Still that Minolta lens. Look at how narrow that depth of field is. There's another one, my Layla. Similar shot to the one before, but this one's with the Minolta lens. There's another Layla. And another. And this is one she was just blowing the dandelion. And I caught it with the A6000. So the focus is really fast and it captured. You could see him flying. It was a lucky shot for sure. I was happy with it though. 100% crop. Some flowers on the deck. This was with the 70-200mm lens. Here's one of Layla on the deck with the 70-200, and I just wanted to show you the eyes, how sharp. They really came out awesome. Nice contrast. Background depth of field is really good. There's another one. Some flowers. And here's a sequence I took with the 70-200. I was just taking it in fast rapid fire mode, and I got a whole bunch of Layla just playing around. And you know, you could see the facial recognition technology. It just locked onto her face, and no matter where I was zooming in and out, it just, every shot sharp, sharp, sharp. Oh yeah, I got a hummingbird feeder. Pretty excited about that. I'm hoping to get a hummingbird. I've saw about 3 or 4 of them so far, but they are so fast and so small. But I have seen them, so I'm gonna try to get one. My buddy Sandy, she was trotting towards me, and I actually edited this shot. Here's the edited one. You can see I removed some stuff from the background. And here's my buddy Chopper. He's a handsome dog. Look at this. Look how sharp that is. This is with a 70-200. This is at f5.6. Really loving that lens. And it works really well on the A6000. It's fast. Oh, went to Layla's school, and there was a teacher there, or a special guest, Luna. And she was a magician / fairy, I guess. And this expression pretty much says it all about the show, in my opinion. I'll just leave it at that. But that's ISO 5000. And you could see the detail. It's really good. And the hair and all that. And she had this cool balloon belt. She made balloons. This is ISO 6400. And here's Layla. She was just eating some ice cream. And this is ISO 6400 as well. Really high ISO. This was a kid outside. He was really cute playing on the playground, so I just zoomed in and took a picture of him. And his eyes, outside were, just brilliant blue. So just to show you what the 24 megapixel can capture, you can see the hair. It's really, really high quality. Image quality is amazing. This was a brick school in the background. You could see it just bokehs out. Really nice stuff. This was Layla playing on the monkey bars. She was trying to impress me. Oh, this was playing around in the lab, just testing out the lens and what it can do. We went to a birthday party that was on a farm. We had an absolute blast, and there were some ducks there. There were some horses there. Well, I wanted to show you something with this. Notice how the horse is blown out, the white fur. If I took this in JPEG mode, I shot everything raw here. These are all raw files. You can see the .arw. If I shot this in JPEG, the white would be blown and it would be saved like that. But because this is raw, let me go to develop mode. I can pull the highlights back. Watch this. And the detail. See that? So you could see how powerful the Sony sensor is. The dynamic range is just amazing. And then I could actually pull the shadows up to bring the woods out a little, and you can see that's much better. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. Dynamic range test. It's my friend Joe. Here's Layla. She was looking at the bunnies. They had bunnies there too, because they had a really cool pig. He was super friendly. They were feeding him. He was dirty. He was like a dog, man. You called him and he would come over. He wagged his tail. I gave him some pets. He would oink and stuff. They had a cool old barn hinge there. I had to take a shot of that. I mean, come on. Layla was having so much fun at this party, she did not know what to do with herself. She was just smiling. And look at that. Look at those eyelashes. She's got gook all over her nose, too. Well, what are you going to do? She had a blast at the party. All right, so looking at the A6000 in the lab, I just wanted to show you high ISO. What we're looking at here. You can see on the black and white target, it looks great. Detail is still there. I mean, obviously you're going to lose some detail, but it's all mostly still there. You can read the letters, things like that. So let me show you what 1280 looks like. You can see 1280 is significantly better, less noisy. You can see mostly on the coins, the detail on the coins in particular. All right, and here is 6400, and here's ISO 100. So you could see 100 to 6400. I mean, it's definitely in a little bit of noise there, but 6400 is still usable in my opinion. Even 12,800 is usable. It gets a little bit unusable when you get up to this area, but still, when you zoom out, I mean, you look at the whole scene, overall it's still usable. But 12,800 realistically, and 6,400 in ideal situations. I would set auto ISO at a maximum of 64 or 12,800, something like that. So the bottom line with the A6000, it's an awesome camera. It really is. Highly recommend it. I give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. A fantastic camera. What would give it a 5-star? Well, the TriNavi control, for example, having that would give it 5 stars, would help. Having an audio in and out, that'd be a nice feature. It also doesn't have the level gauge, so there's just a few small little things. But overall, I mean, the image quality is excellent. High ISO performance is just as good as the Nexus 6. The corner sharpness is very good. The video is much better, and the autofocus is just lightning fast. So if you need faster autofocus, you need better video, the A6000 is worth upgrading from the Nexus 6. If you really don't need better video and you don't need super fast autofocus in comparison to the Nexus 6, then the Nexus 6 is more than enough camera for you. The higher resolution is nicer, but it's not necessary. You know what I mean? So again, if you're looking to upgrade from a point and shoot or something like that, and you're looking at the Nexus 6 or the A6000, I would say go with the A6000 for the faster autofocus, higher resolution sensor, and much better video. But the Nexus 6 being on sale, you can't go wrong with that either. It's a really awesome camera, and I have one, and I can't recommend it enough. All right, guys, that's pretty much it for this A6000 review, and I really hope you got what you were looking for. Be sure to check out my website for even more information on the A6000. I have a written review where I break down everything in a little bit more detail than I can do here on the video. And, you know, as far as features, specs, things like that. Also, if you scroll down, I have 100% crops of all the high ISO images, so you can get a better look. You know, sometimes it's easier to get a better look on the internet than it is looking at a video. You know what I'm saying? YouTube compresses it and so on. So I also wanted to show you, if you go to my homepage, I got the A6000 versus the Nexus 6. I have a whole dedicated article on that. So if you have any questions as it pertains to, you know, the A6000 versus the Nexus 6, just please go there. And there's also a couple other cool reviews here. Monaco wrote an awesome review on the softbox. And I have the A6000 using lens adapters. Also some more lens testing with the A6000 here. And on top of that, the forum is also open. The registration's back open if you want to join the Sony forum here. Happy to check out your photography and help you out if you need help. It's a good place to ask questions.